Trading the foreign exchange market carries high risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Trading on margin, utilizing leverage can carry an even higher level of risk that can lead to a complete loss of investment funds. So before deciding to trade the foreign exchange market or using any of our software alert products, you should carefully and diligently consider your personal investment objectives, level of experience, and risk tolerance. There is a possibility that you could potentially sustain significant loss. You should not invest any capital or trade that you cannot afford to lose. It is your responsibility to be aware of and understand all risks associated with foreign exchange trading and to seek professional advice from an independent certified financial advisor if you have any doubts. Auvoria Prime does not exercise trading authority over your trades. You and you alone exercise discretionary trading authority over every trade.
Okay, welcome everybody to the Tuesday session of the Hawkeye session. It's going to be Tuesday, January 12th. And trading the foreign exchange on margin carries a high level of risk and may not be suitable for all investors. The high degree of leverage can work against you as well as for you. Before deciding to invest in the foreign exchange, you should carefully consider your investment objective, level of experience, and risk appetite. The possibility exists that you could sustain a loss of some or all of your initial investment, and therefore you should not invest money that you cannot afford to lose. You should be aware of all the risks associated with the foreign exchange trading and seek advice from an independent financial advisor if you have any doubts. This is a live trading room. It is for educational purposes only. No financial advice or recommendation will be provided. Any trade taken during this live session is not a recommendation or a suggestion that you should also do the same. Past performance is not indicative of future results. Do not trade money that you cannot afford to lose. And before trading live, always operate with a written trade plan that identifies the rules for entries, exits, targets, and risk management. And with that, we'll go to the charts. And we did get an arrow alert on the euro yen. Let me change screens here. And that is on number 6. And here we go. We just got this alert, and it is looks like an alert to go long. It looks like it's coming off of a bounce. We do have some red zones up above, green zone down below. If we scroll in a little bit, it's still like it's coming. It's in a fairly decent range. We still have lots of room to the upside. Looks like we're getting a bounce. It looks like it's right now it's trading inside this range right here. Our target, 20-pip target, is way up above. That's plenty of room up there. And scroll in a little bit more and just see how as we scroll in deeper and deeper, it looks like we actually do have 3 green zones down below, 3 red zones up above. It's in the sideways motion, and it looks like it's just ranging in between this area right here. We did get an arrow alert, bounced off the green zone, up arrow, and we're going for the 20 pips. We can take a look at this at a little bit more of a micro level, and this was the euro yen. And let's take a look and see what that may look like on a few other time frames. Find my chart. Well, that thing was really lots of movement since I looked at this chart last.
What was that up?
And I'm still working on trying to get my chart scrolled in here. There's it really took a big move up from the last time I had this chart open.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
There we go. Someone told me I needed to hit the auto button. That would save a lot of trouble. And
yeah.
Somehow,
Someone said somebody.
Sometimes
I'm just someone?
Sometimes I'm just a slow. Sometimes I'm just a slow learner. Okay, here we go.
What chart are you showing us, Noel?
I'm looking at the. It's going to be the euro yen.
Okay, we got it.
Yeah. So since that's the alert that we got, let's just take a look at it under a microscope and just see what it's doing. Make sure that it still makes sense to take it long. The rule says it bounced off. We had the up arrow. We're in the range. We have 20 pips below. We have a nice big 40 pip stop down below. If it starts breaking through that green zone that we had that it bounced off of, then we're going to be getting out of this trade. And that's going to be way before we get to our stop. So, but if we look at it under a microscope, we had this was where the bounce came in off of. And that was, let me scroll in here a little bit. Let's go one more time here. And it was the last 15-minute candle that, so it was this candle right here is the candle that it generated the alert. And we're going to look at this in a wedge. Since this is still a wedge trading room, we're going to look at this under the microscope of a wedge. We had as we always look at, what we do is we're looking at the overnight session. There's the blue line for where the session break is. And we're looking to see what kind of range do we have from the session. So I like taking a look and see where the overnight high is. Let's just use, well, this was the overnight high. Here's the overnight, we'll call this the overnight low, and I'll explain why I'm using that one.
Right on the
and here's the overnight high. Now we're going to look and see, I'm going to draw our box. And that's going to be just looking for a range box. And we're going to, I'm just going to lock this one in so we don't, first before I do that, I want to find I'm going to find where the 3 o'clock, where the London opened. So the London opened right at this area right in here. So I'm going to try and, ideally what I'd like to do is like to try and catch the high before the London session to see what the overnight range is before London opened. So here's the high before London, and here is the low before London. And you can see here's a 15-minute fib line, and you see how it came down, it tested the line, it closed, broke, and went up. Right now we're starting to have now this was where the London session opened. London drove it right on up to this area, and then it brought it right back down to here. So I'm going to go ahead and move this one up. This is the high and the low from where we are right now. Here's where London opened. So this is the part that we're really concerned is, what did London do? And so drove it up to high, low, and right now we're right at the mid-range of where this is. We do have a 30-minute 62 coming down. We do have some, let me move this one, take that one off. We do have our moving averages. We have our 15-minute 62, the orange one. We have our yellow 13 moving average on the 15-minute, and we have our 5-minute. These are all, right now we have the crossover of the 62 on the 15. We have the cross of the 5 over the 13 and the 62. And right now and we're just now starting to get the 1362 cross here. Now we did get the alert with this, which means when this candle closed, that was where the entry on that alert should have been. And it closed right here at the bottom. It was a red candle, so it closed at the bottom of this blue candle. This is where our entry was. Or this is the theoretical entry, I should say. I mean, that's pretty much where we should have gotten in. It should have been pretty close to that.
Oh, look at it take off.
And let's see, where's my template? Here we go. And so this would be an entry to buy. This is pretty much where we got in. And we're looking for 20 pips. So and this is at 26.69, so 26.89 is where the target's going to be. So 26.89. Let me see if I can find where 26.89 is. 80, and this is a yen pair, so we're only really looking at the last 2 digits. So here's our target. Here's our target 1. That's a target. And our stop is going to be basically all the way down below. We have a 40 pip stop is what we use. So at 126.69, it's 126.29. So really the stop is all the way down here by near the 15-minute fib line. This is our stop. Now, obviously, you can see that we're not using the same stops as we did when we were doing our to the wedges. This is through the arrow system where we use a 20 pip target, 40 pip stop. We're in the box. If this thing breaks out of the bottom of here and starts heading down, we may want to get out of that trade. But right now, we're just waiting for it to give us it's got lots of wiggle room. there's no reason to, now pretty much we have our trade set, we have our target set, we have our stop set, we have our entry, and now we just pretty much move on to the next alert that comes through. But just trying to analyze this a little bit, it's trading inside the overnight high and low. We had a nice strong move down, and this is where I found some buyers. And if we look at an hour, I'll go to a little higher time frame chart and see where some of these other, now you see that this is where the origin of this up move. I always like to see is that where did get the strongest, it's like a rocket ship. It just launches right up, and then where it makes the high. And then it comes down. You can see here it's trending down, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, and now flat lines. Now this is from yesterday afternoon's price ranges from here, daybreak, overnight session. London opens up, drives it up, comes back down. All it does is whipsaws everybody. This range right here, where from when the London sessions range right now is basically, what is that? About 30 pips because remember, this is a yen pair, so you're really looking at the last two digits. So it's still right now, it's trading in the 30 pip range. It's right about in the middle of that range. And if you look over here to the left, see where this strong move up originated, you can identify where your demand zone is going to be. And I come over here and look at these wicks. I come over here to where I run into a wall, which is right. You can see where this is a big, strong candle coming up. So right now, this is the range that is probably bouncing off of right in here. Now we're going to call this our demand zone. You have a little bit of a wick over wick. It came up, based, it came up, came back down, retested this area right here. Retested it once, retested it twice, retested the third time. 3 times this area has been rejected. So we're going to make this our demand zone. And we're looking for now when it came back down, as it was ranging from a low, lower high, lower low, lower high, same thing all the way down. Here's the strong candle down. Here's where it made, right in this area is where I would say that we're looking at a supply zone up here. And the reason I'm looking, you have this nice strong wick candle up. Here's a little wick right here. You have the 3 candle formation where you had the middle had left a wick, and you have 2 lower lows on each side. And now we're looking to see if it's going to come up and retest this area. So from that, I'm going to draw a supply zone. I'm going to start up here with this strong move down, came back up, retested it. So this is a retest zone right in here. And I'm just going to bring it right to just capture these wicks and make this our supply. And this is really the range that we're looking in. Let's see, supply. And you can see this. So this is the highest penetration in this zone. So we know that there's a little bit of this wick right here. This is the wick that we're really looking at. And we also have, so I'm just going to make this like a zone on a zone. Because the reality is that we have a low wick here. And we have the low of that. So right now we have 2 levels. It came up. So this area has not been penetrated. I'll just move that out just a little bit further. This one has been penetrated up until the top. So basically, and you can see our target is right in the is right before we get to that. So if this candle came up, tested it, and we're just going to wait and see what happens with this. So from that point, we'll look at a 5-minute chart. And we'll see what kind of if we can find something we can put our hats on. Strong move down, came back up. This is probably a 60% retracement. We'll look and see where our fib lines are. Here's a fib line here. That's where the bounce off of that. So that's a significant line. And then we have and that's a red. So we should have a blue fib line, 15-minute blue fib line up above here someplace. I may not have that marked yet. put this on. I'll put this on a 15-minute. And so
bottom
right
of
here,
this
right here,
map?
right here is the blue one. Right here is the blue fib line right there.
Yeah. Can you guys hear me by chance?
You're real weak there, Christine.
Oh my word, Mark.
Yeah, I'm hearing some static there.
Holy cannolis. Better?
That's a little better.
Okay. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Um,
So here's so you can see that our blue fib line is, and this is a 60 pip zone, I believe. No, actually be a little bit less because this is the yen pair. So between the 15-minute fib and the blue one is 33 pips. That's our range. Mark this on 15-minute blue. And now I want to see where the thirds are in between here. So we're going to move this. We're on a 5-minute chart right now. So move this into a 5-minute range, and we should get our thirds. So here's the third. Here's the top third, and you can see this is right in the zone. And see where our bottom third is. You can see this. I'm just going to move this down here just to tweak that right down to that bottom third. Here's we got in right at the middle third, and then we have the top third up here. And so we just wait. We're in the trade. It's our target. I'm just going to give it time to maneuver its way through this range here. We'll just see what happens. And looks like we got another alert on the U.S. The S&P. So let me go and we'll take a look at that one. And so we have the S&P 500. So we're going to come over here. We're going to put the chart up. Once I find my cursor.
Now, Al, the S&P has different parameters, correct?
Yes, it does. The S&P, as we see, do you see my S&P chart, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so what this one has is that the S&P and the gold are on a 5-minute chart. So I'm going to make sure you're on a 5-minute chart when you're looking at this. And here's a zone. So we have, and you want to go for a $5 target and a $10 stop. So let's take a look at this and see whether that fits or not. So here's the red arrow. And so we have so we can move this down to, this is where the entry would be. And that's at 3805.66. So 3815.66 would be the stop. I'm going to move that up to this one, move this up to 3866. And we're just checking to see what the range is going to look like. 3815 is where it is. So that's right about in here. That's be the stop zone right there. And then the target is going to be $5. So we're going to be looking at 3,800 basically is what I'm talking about. So that's going to come all the way down to here. Now the question is, we have plenty of room to the stop, so we have lots of red there. But we also we have 3 green zones right here. Our target is going to be in the middle of this zone. This one is one I think I'm just going to stay away from. Reason why I'm going to stay away from it is we have 2 red zones up above. We have 3 red zones down below. It's more of an uptrend. This is looking like it more be a pullback. Now we do have a level on a level, which this is just a little bit more of an iffy trade, because if it came down and bounced off of this top of this green zone, you'd have less than $5 worth of range from where you would be getting into where we get out. If we move this up to the top here, which is really where you wouldn't have enough room to be able to get at least to the top of that green bar. And that's only $3. That's only $2 away. We want 5. We have 10. We don't want to take a $10 stop with a $2 profit. So I'm just going to stay away from this trade. And that's all I can say about that one. Now, do you have anything you want to add to that, or anybody else want to add to that?
I'd like to add to that.
Okay.
Go right ahead.
I think that we have 3 zones in the red.
Oh, that is true. That there's a
I
level. There's a
agree. I was
level
looking
and a
at that
level.
going,
Yeah.
what am I not seeing?
So,
Yeah.
but I
You're,
do
you're,
agree with the
yeah.
distance to the green one is, you don't have much
Yeah.
distance. But I just wanted to, just because it's ever so slight, and some people may have missed that, so that's why
As I
I
did.
wanted
I
to add
actually,
that.
yeah, I actually missed that myself. Thank you for bringing that to my attention.
Sure.
So yeah, so basically, you just don't. Right now, you can see it's in a rather tight range, and if you're looking at 5 pip, I mean, this came down. We had a bounce. This would have been more of the trade to take off of this one because you had all this room up here. That's where the difference lies. Like from this candle here. So this be if this like looking at this candle, I like saying where it bounces off, like the other trade that we had, it bounced off the green zone. And so, and then you have enough room to the upside. You have a lot more room to the upside. And you have a lot of uh, barriers down below to keep you from getting stopped out. This one, it's just going sideways, and it's in a very tight sideways range. And you can see it's not even in a $10 range. If you're looking from the top of this candle right here, that's at 38.12, and the bottom here is at 38.03. It's basically in a $9 range. If you're having a 10 pip stop and a 5 pip target with, I mean, you don't even have the 15 pip total range to be able to work with. Now, does that mean it won't work? There's probably a good chance that it will, but it doesn't fit my rules, so therefore I can't take the trade. And that's, so we have that one done. So we're going to close that out and wait for the next alert.
An hour is not a rule breaker.
I try not to break I have broken rules in the time. I'm usually regret it when I do. So any questions about that so far?
No, thank you.
Okay. Let's take a look at, let's diagnose that one a little bit as we have time to look and see if there's a wedge that was drawn with it. Let me get another chart up here. Let's see, this is a Euro Yen. Let's go and see if I can find that S&P chart here.
Did you do the Euro New Zealand at all, Al?
I did not do a Euro New Zealand. Is there one? Was there an alert for that one?
There was, yeah. At well, just a few minutes ago, 7 minutes ago, 8 minutes
Really?
ago.
Why didn't I not see that? Yep, there it is. Okay, let's take a look at that. Oh, that's
Yeah, it's already moving. Yeah,
it's already moving. What we could do with this one is we could take a buy limit at the where the alert would have been. How did I miss that one?
which it looks like it's coming back down a little.
Yeah, let's see what the so here would be the entry. It looks like it's 169.30. Okay, yeah, 169.38. So if we could maybe, here's what we can do with this one. It looks like it's a good move up. It's just crossed over the blue line. We have an arrow. We had the bounce off. This is really the first arrow off of the bounce. So it bounced, arrow, go. So, and now the question is, do we have 20 pips to the target? And if it pulls back enough to give us 20 pips, then we could do it. I would probably be looking at, so we have a target up here. And that's at, so the entry, our best entry, if we got in right at the, where the alert happened, be 38. So we're looking at 20 pips, so that'd be 58. That's, there's enough room there. If it pulls back to where the entry was, there's enough room to take that trade. And if you look at the stop on this, we're looking at 38. So we're looking at, let's just say call it 169-ish. 169.94, so go up a little bit higher on this one. There it is. 169. This thing looks really slow sometimes trying to get that thing to move. You gotta get right on it, and then there it is. And if I 169, there we go. And that'd be right about there. Okay, so this would be the target. This would be the stop. Now, if you took this is an arrow. This is a doable trade. Now, if you did get in, if you wanted to take this now, you just can't expect to get the 20 pips. You may get the 20 pips, or you may not either way. But you would have to back off your expectations of this, especially knowing that your target would be right here at the bottom of this red zone. Also, as you look at this trade, let's scroll in a little bit and see what the main direction of this pair is. We have two zones at the top, two green zones at the bottom. It looks like it's just trading inside a range. Let's see how close that is on, and this is the Euro New Zealand. And let's see how the price action, how the strength is on the New Zealand. New Zealand is basically pretty weak right now. New Zealand is the second currency of the pair. I would say you could take along because the euro is stronger than New Zealand on several of the time frames, 30, 15, and 5. The New Zealand is stronger. The euro is stronger than New Zealand, although the euro is not overly strong. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about as I switch my screens here. Because we're talking about the Euro-New Zealand pair. So if there's a choice of whether or not to take it long or to not take it at all, I like to see that, take a look at this chart, which tells me the strength of New Zealand. You can see that New Zealand is the weakest on all 4 time frames pretty much, other than on the 5-minute. The euro on the 3 hour, on the 1 hour chart. Let's put it on the 3 hour chart, just get a little more range on this. Oops, I got the wrong one here. This goes on the 15.
Al,
Yes.
while that's populating, seeing we're doing our charts on for the arrow on a 15-minute, should we, when we look at the RCSs, give more emphasis to the 15-minute or higher?
I think so. I think given the emphasis on the time frame that you're working with, I think is prudent. I like to see the 15. I like seeing the time frame above. In this case, it'd be the 30, and the bottom would be 5. I just like to see what the overall push is on the higher time frame. I'm gonna 1 hour. I switch back and forth between the 1 hour and 3 hour just to give some sort of a reference to see if I can find out where the higher push is. In this case, right now, the New Zealand is weak on all 4 time frames, so I would favor the to the upside on this. And but I would still want to get a entry that would support that. I'm a little concerned about the euro just being in the middle because I'm not looking that there's a whole lot of strength, but it's still stronger than the, so it does favor to the upside. I just don't know how long that favor will last in this particular case. But if you wanted to take this trade, I mean, it's a tradable trade. But in order to do that, I would say I'd have to wait till it came back into my, have the trade come to you. And so what I would be looking at doing is just doing a sell or a buy limit order on this one. And I'll show you how to do that. Let me get the chart up here. So if you did want to take this, what you would do is you put your cursor over on just find a black area, right click, and find out here where it says trading. Now, oftentimes, usually what I'll do is I'll just kind of come on up here and just click, just do a market entry on the buy or the sell. But this is where you can set your trade. So here's a trading, and you want to put in a buy limit. Click on that. And let's see. And you come down here and you set this, you modify the trade. And you're going to modify this. So here's your Euro New Zealand. You're going to modify the order. And when you modify the order, you can tell it what you want to do, I believe. Let's see. And it's going to be a pending order. And it's going to be a buy limit. So you want to buy at a certain price. So we want to buy at the top of this. So we want to buy at 169.38. So 169.38. Let me just double check it. Make sure I got this right. I'll just type it in here, 1.6938. And then you place the order. Now you can put your stop in here. So we want to put, if we want to buy at 169.38, you want to take your profit at 169.58. So my target is going to be 1.6958. And my stop is going to be 1.69.
Six, eight, nine,
Yeah,
eight.
1.6. When are we at here?
1.66898.
There we go. And so we got our stop, we have our target, we have our entry. I'm going to place the order. And here's the order. And this is the one that we said, I'm going to delete this one because now I got 2 orders in it to make sure you don't get more than you want. Modify or delete. We're going to delete this one. And just click on the delete.
You can just click on the X at the side too, can you not?
Oh, yeah,
No?
yeah, I could have. Well, yeah, you probably could have. Yeah, I didn't see it. Actually, I didn't even see that. But yeah, you could have just clicked on to delete it that way. There's a couple different ways of doing it. So this is the order that's set. This is the one that we're already in. And this is the next one. This is New Zealand. And we have a limit order. If it comes back to where the entry of this was, if it comes back to that, we'll get in it. And we have our stop and we have our target. And that's how you can put an order in on this MT4 platform. That's how you can do that with the, so rather than chasing it, just say, okay, it looks like a good move. We have the strength of the New Zealand, so strength the upside. We have our target, which is sitting right here at the bottom of this zone. And our stop is way down below here where this other strong candle came up and it came right down, bounced, found some buyers in here and drove it right back up again. So this is a range that it's in. We have the New Zealand strength, which we looked with our RCS tool. We have our targets, our entry set to where we don't want to be chasing it. And we have our target. And with that, you just walk away and look for the next one. We can analyze this one a little bit more. We can fine tune this one. And let's go to the charts and we'll just do the technicals on this and see what it shows us while we're waiting for the next trade. But you can see how you can very easily and very quickly make your decision. Do I have room? Do I have room to the top for my target? Do I have some barriers below for my stop? Is my arrow going in the right direction? And I do like that RCS tool to be able to show where the momentum is. So it gives you the idea whether or not you have the momentum on the right side to be able to hit your target. And the stronger the momentum is on the lower time frame, in this case, the New Zealand is weak on all 4 charts. And the stronger that the euro would be on these higher time frame charts, the happier I would be with it. But as long as you're taking in the strength of the euro. Now you do have a 3-point. We often talk about the 3-point spread on the 15-minute chart. Well, here's our 15-minute chart. Our euro has a 3 value. Our New Zealand, it had a 0 value. So we had a 3-point spread on the
Al,
15.
excuse me for a moment. Are you showing us a different chart? Because we're still looking at your MP4.
Yeah, I thank you.
You get so into your lessons that you do.
Well, I forget.
Yeah,
before I used to
Veda.
before I used to just be able to slide these things over, but I think I'm not sure when I just slide the chart over, I'm having to change monitors here. Okay, let's try this again. You can see that New Zealand is still the weakest on the 3-hour, the 30-minute, fairly weak on the 15-minute. And this is the chart we're charting off of. We're using the 15-minute chart on this. So, and you can see at the time we took this trade, we had New Zealand with a value of 0. It was a 0 down there. So we had a 3-point spread on the 15, euro strength of 3. I like having at least a 3-point spread for the on the higher time frame, this case being the 15-minute, or on the time frame. And so there I was okay with taking the trade. I wouldn't want to take it short, knowing that this was the weakest currency. So I would not favor taking a short in that case, but the fact that it is weak, the euro is stronger. We got the arrow, we got the bounce, and we have our target. I was okay taking that trade. That's another factor of how to make a decision. If things are kind of maybe a little bit iffier, but you want to have a decision breaker, see which pair is going to be the stronger of the two, and then trade in that direction. If everything else fits and the pair is still stronger, like the euro is still stronger, go ahead and take a stab at the trade. And so if we come over here to the Euro New Zealand, let's take a look at what the technicals on this look like. So let's go to our 15-minute chart. And we have our 15-minute zones. We have our overnight, this is the overnight break. We're going to draw our box. We're going to find out where our London Open is. That's at 3 o'clock. And just keep on doing the same thing over and over again. Find out where London opened. Find out what the overnight range is before London. And so right now the range before London and after London. So here's the range before London, which is right here. Take it down. Here's the low. Here's the high. We're going to make this our reference box. We're going to lock this. We're going to move this out here a little bit out of the way. And we'll lock that. And so here's our playground. Hang on just a second. And so here's our range. Now it did London opened it right here, drove it up, drove it back down, and now it's sitting in this range right here. Our target, as we have our target set at, we're not in this trade yet. At least I don't think I am. Nope, it's not in the trade. So we're entering at 69.38. So here's the 69.38 is right about in here. It's right about where we are. We're very close to getting into this thing if we're not very, very close. So this is going to be the entry. Enter to buy. Now we just got filled. So we just got filled right here. It's coming back down to retest. As you look and see where the overnight session, it's coming right in at the 30-minute 62. We have a lot of consolidation right in here. And so you can see here's a high, here's a low, here's a little bit of a wedge coming in. So we have a little bit of an upward trend. We can draw our wedge. And so I'm going to start with this strong move up, pulled back. It's actually trending here. You can see it's actually trending a little bit. So I'm looking at this as being in an uptrend a little bit. Here's a high, low, here's a high, higher low, higher high. Try to get this thing going in the right direction. Here's our entry. Here's our channel. Here's an anchor. Here's a hit. Here's a hit. Right now it's trading inside this range right now. If it breaks through the bottom of this, we may want to think about changing our direction on this trade. But right now, if we were just drawing wedges and not using the arrow, but just drawing strictly wedges as we are, I'm looking at this being our trap area right up in here. Because it's strong move down, move up, facing. And I'd be looking at, if I would like to see it stay above the close of this candle right here. This looks like this could be a trap. Use my A, use where the first hit was. This bottom trend line is still holding. It has an upper channel to it, so this thing could go on up until it retests this area. And I'd be looking at, and our target, if we have our entry here at 169,
39.
38, actually,
38, yes.
what it actually was, 38. So I got 38 is right there. And our target is 20 pips, 38, so we're looking at 58. 6958, which is here's our target, which just happens to be right here at the top of this. Oh, it's our red fib line.
Yeah.
So here's where our target is. I'll just kind of put it right there so we can see where the different, right, just a little bit below that. We have our, it has an upper channel. We have a strong move up, rejected, strong move down, rejected. And so this is the area from, as long as this thing stays inside this channel, we're good. And if it could stay inside the channel all the way up here, we have our target. If it breaks out of this significantly, then we may want to think that it may be starting to change direction. But right now, our trap would be find out where there's a fib line in here. And if I go over to my fibs and see if I can, we're on a 15-minute chart. Let's go over to our 5-minute chart and check it out on that. We'll lock this. And we're going to find out where it came up. It's making, here's a high, here's a higher low, here's a higher high, here's a higher low. So right now it's just trending right now all the way up into where our target, towards our target. If it can break the D, then we can, we have to be careful that we don't have, that this area right here doesn't, we want to see it break where the D is here. Because right now this is as high as it got after the strong move up. This is either going to be a trap or it's going to be where it's going to break out of the range. But I would think I would expect it to kind of retest this area up here. I would consider the trap to be more up in this area, which is pretty much right where the red zone was on the arrow alert system. So we're going to make this our supply.
There's buzzing going on somewhere. Does everyone else hear that?
What was that, Chris? Eva?
I can hear buzzing going on.
Is that me?
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I think it's Christine.
Oh man, I don't.
I know.
What's the girls to do these days? Holy cannolis. That better?
I didn't
No.
know.
You still hear it?
Before it was
I-
buzzing while you were talking. Now it's buzzing when you're not
Oh
talking.
my gosh in heaven. This is so ridiculous.
Let me see this.
All right.
See if I can get this thing moving in the right direction here. I do like this little trend right here. We have a hit. Here's a hit. Here's a hit. Here's a hit. There's the anchor. Here's a hit. And we're right now trying to get this just. It was interesting with this triangle tool is that it's a very small movement to whether it goes behind you or whether it goes in the right direction. I always like having it going in the right direction. So that kind of tells me a little bit that this is a valid line, having it going in the right direction. So right now, as long as this trade stays in the center here, it's working its way up to our target, we're still good. We already got into the trade. We waited for the pullback. And now we're just waiting to see if it's going to put some money into the bank. I would expect it's going to come up here and test this top trend line. And I'm going to draw this as a trend line as the upper channel. And see if it can break and come up here and tag our zone. And this is where the patience comes in. As long as it's inside this range and still staying in the upward direction, they're still good. The only time you have to be concerned is if it comes out and breaks out of here. But if it breaks out of this, I could be, right now, I would still stay in the trade. Now I'm gonna just keep on moving this trap area up because as long as it keeps picking higher highs and higher lows, I'll be waiting for it to come into the trap. And as we get more pullbacks and higher lows, we can move this up a little bit higher. I'm going to unlock that. Now you have a choice. You can just move it right up to where that lowest low is, to where this intersection crosses the trend line. The top of this red line crosses that intersection. I can move it up to that. And I can move this one up if you want. Or you can just keep it down here and say, as long as, because you're still well out of harm's way, your target, your stop is still way down here. But we didn't put the target in here. Let's put the target in. We're going to clone this. And we have the entry was at 169.38. So the stop is going to be right around 169. 40 pips, 169.
98.
98, 169, 98? 169, 169, 169, 0. Let's see, I should be on a 4 pip range here. Let me get this set here. Change the scale to a 4, we'll go to a 4 pip. So there we go. So we went 169, 168.98 is actually what we're looking at. 169.98, which is right about here. So this is going to be our stop. So you see, you have lots of room to the downside. We have a lot of barriers to get through. It's got to get through this where the overnight low was. It did come down and retested this area right down. So this is, our stop was all the way down here at the bottom where it was retested. If it breaks this wedge, then I'd be more apt to get out, and you'd probably just get out with a small loss if I'm sitting there watching. If I'm not watching it, I just let it go. And that's generally what you're better about. Just, I mean, because it will, you know, they came up with a 40 pip stop for a reason. And that's because over the test of time, as they were making these entries, it would come down, it may become 40 pips, seem to keep you out of harm's way. It maybe challenge it, but oftentimes it'll come down, challenge that stop, and then still come back up because the brokers and the big money investors or traders are looking at trying to get people to be whipsawed out. They get, oh, it's breaking out, stop them out, and then take their stops and then move it in the right direction. So just give it that wiggle room. If it breaks here and it looks like it's hanging down, just get out of the trade and then wait for another entry. But that doesn't mean it's still not pan out. I like to just set it, let it go, and forget about it. But this is the way I would analyze this particular trade. We're in the right direction. We got in at a good time. We waited for we had the discipline of where the alert was. We waited for it to come back to us. It just barely got us in. You can see where it just barely got us in, which was just about perfect. And then we're looking for our 20 pip target as it comes up into our supply zone. Any questions?
No, sir.
And Matt, do you have anything you'd like to add or anything you'd like to show?
Not right now. I'm just enjoying this session.
I think what's good about this is as we look at these alerts, we have the discipline and we have this trade method. And again, if you do have the AIRIS system, right now there's 7 strategies out there, and we'll start going through the different strategies. Right now, we're just taking pretty much like one at a time to get everybody used to using this, the basic one. This is probably the simplest to learn. It's probably every bit as profitable as some of the others. It has a bigger stop, which makes smaller lot sizes. but it's your profitability factor and your win ratios are pretty high with this method. So we're going to go do this one, and as we have these sessions, so we'll just keep on adding the different strategies. We talked to the developer last night, and he's okay with us teaching some of these other strategies as we learn them ourselves. And this is still relatively new software for all of us. The developer's been using it for, I think, well over a year or two. And so he's got the track records, he has the method, he has the strategies figured out. And as we go further, as we go on in these sessions, we'll start adding those strategies to give you some other tools basically in your trading toolbox to be able to use and to make maybe find some trades that you wouldn't have taken normally, but give you some other options to take some trades. A lot of it's on higher time frames. Some of it, these are on 50-minute charts. They do have a method of swing trading, which they're using the higher time frames. I believe they use like a 4-hour chart for the swing trades. Again, you're going to have higher stops, probably bigger targets, but you're going to have to give it the wiggle room in order to make that happen. So, like I said, we'll go and we'll be working on that as time goes on.
Al,
So,
Al,
yes.
there's also another strategy that you see the after the London, you see how you have the red and green candle below that are exactly have the same close at the bottom.
Here's the London.
The close, go to the right.
To the right here.
Yeah, go down, right there.
Oh,
okay,
here.
You see how those two candles where you have a close on one and the open on the other are identical?
Right.
There's another strategy that's solely on that. For a minute, I was going to tell you in Spanish. It was like, yeah. So anyway, yeah, that's because they call them railroads.
Okay, well, good. Yeah, I haven't looked through all the strategies yet. I've just been focused on this one. Do you know which number of strategy that was? That might be one of the new ones. There was one that just came out last Thursday, which I have not gone over yet.
Number 6, I think.
Is that number 6? It may be.
6 or 7.
Yeah, it's got to be one of those because I'm not sure I even caught 6. So I did about the first 4 or 5. He has one strategy that trades when the London opens. And we'll go over that one. Most of us aren't here. I'm usually asleep at that time, so that's not one that I paid a lot of attention to. But we'll go over that strategy as well for those night owls that may be out here. So with that, let's take a look at the Forex Factory and just see what kind of news we may have today. It's kind of a slow news day. You can see there's no red folders right now. Pretty quiet day news-wise, so nothing to be concerned about with that. And then we have our chart. Now let's just take a look at the chart, our RCS, and see really what we have. I look at it, first thing I see the British is strong on all 4 time frames. I look and see what's weak on all 4 time frames. Well, the Euro, New Zealand is on the 3-hour, they're neck and neck. So I could be looking at trading the British against the Euro on that one. On this one, the British, what is common between the 3-hour and the 30-minute? Well, I see the New Zealand is in the bottom 3 on that one. New Zealand's on the bottom 3 there. And New Zealand's on the bottom 3 on this one. And this one's trying to gain a little bit more strength here, but it's getting right up into the middle. But I could be looking, there's another alert on gold. Maybe take a look at that one.
Gold, my favorite.
Let's go over to, let's change it. I'm going to try something here. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to switch my screen here. I might try that tomorrow. So here's our alert. I'm going to see if I can just keep from changing monitors on my share screen here. So here we have gold. We have gold. It's a sell on gold. So let's go to the gold chart. It's really nice about Arrow when you have other trades that are open. It tells you where you're sitting with the other trades. So right now, my Euro New Zealand still is at plus 5 pips. Euro Yen is -8. So right now, I have a net profit of -3 pips right now. But gold right now, okay, this is going to be an interesting one. We have strong, and it says to sell gold. Right now I'm just looking I'm not sure I'm going to like this one, but let's scroll in a little bit. I'm going to click on this little zoom out, and I've got 2 green and 1 red. So that means you pretty much want to be taking gold to the upside, not so much the downside. Let's scroll out one more time. And right now we have it sort of switched on the, as you look at it a little bit different, you got 1, 2, 3, 4 red zones. We have 1, 2, 3 green zones. It has a little bit of pressure to the downside. So that's what gives some support to that. Let's scroll back out again. I say right now gold is trading inside this range. That would have to break through this. It's going to have a little bit to get through this. If it can get through this barrier, then this would be the next target. So I would be looking at, I'm going to scroll back out of this. Let's do it one more time. Here's our candle, the entry on this. Let's see if I go and see where our targets are here. Here would be a target right there. This is where we want to have enough for 5 pips from where the entry was, which was right here. And this was at 1844. The target is 1842. I would need a target of 1839 for a target before I could take this trade. I certainly can't take it now because it's already hidden. It's already coming up near where the target is. But if I were to, I need to get this thing all the way down to 39. So I'm going to move this down to, there you go, 30. So 39, this is where the target needs to be, all the way down, pretty much on the other side of where this zone is. So basically it has to get all the way through this green area before it's going to get to the target. I will pass on this trade, and I'm going to show you why that would be. So there's 1840, so we're looking at 1839. So let's just call it right there. It's got to get through this. I'd be more apt to be looking, since this has been in a range like this for the last, well, for pretty much all night, like anyway, I'd be looking more of a bounce with an arrow to go to the upside, but you won't get the arrow until it gets through this area right in here. You won't get the up arrow until it crosses that. Right now, I'm just going to stay away from the gold. You see it came right down to the zone. It's bouncing. I would have to wait for it to bounce, come back up, probably retest it again, and then go up. By that time, this one's going to be coming on down, get the up arrow, get the crossover, and then you have this for the target. So I'm going to pass on this one. And you can see that our Euro New Zealand is working out pretty well. Let's go over to that chart to take a look and see how we're doing with that. Still chugging along.
Funny, mine's not showing these retest texts like you have.
Oh, it's not.
No.
Do you have?
We can look at that after if you want.
Yeah, we'll take a look at that one, see why it's not. We'll see why it's not. So we're passing on the gold. We're still in the Euro New Zealand, and that's still profitable. The Euro Yen is about as unprofitable as the other one is, but we still have lots of room. And so right now our drawdown, you can see our drawdown is just very, very little. We only have a $6 drawdown on a $4,800 account. So no worries there. We're just going to let it do its thing. Not worry about it. Take this off and take this off. Wait for the next alert. What did we just? We just got one.
We just got a Euro Yen for a sell, but it's
and we're already in the Euro Yen.
Right.
So this is the one. Yeah. Now this is the one that we took long.
Yeah. So that means if you get an alert, to my understanding, and it's in the opposite direction,
get out of it.
Get out of it.
One thing I don't Matt, your understanding on that is, does it matter where the zone is? One thing what happens is, and this is where I'm not real clear myself on, when you have, here's an alert to go long, here's an alert to go short, it's still in a rather short range. And there's a couple options. I mean, it's like right now it's in the zone. It's trying to, this is the one we had to take along, I believe. Yeah, we went long on this one. So this kind of went long. It came up, didn't give us our target, but it's still far away from our stop and still inside this range. I know that if you're in if you get like this one right here, if you get this and it's going up and it forms another zone and gives you the arrow, then you'd want to be getting out of the trade. I don't know if that's the case. In this case, it didn't really form another zone. It's just more retesting the bottom zone, and you're still well beyond, because this is where you could really get whipsaw. You could say, oh, I'll take out of this fish and take it short. You don't want to take it short because you're right in the middle of the zone. You're in a very narrow range. And basically what's happened is it never did quite make when was this target? When was this one open? This was at 1500. See if I can find out where this one is. Uh, 1500 would be, let's see, this is going to be, help me out with this on the time of this. We took this since we sat down here tonight, so that would have been about an hour ago.
Is that the euro yen you're talking about?
Yeah.
Or the euro NZD, euro yen?
I'm looking at the euro yen. The alert was on the euro yen.
Came through.
We took it on this one. I think we took it on this one right here.
9 o'clock. Was it 9 o'clock? 8 o'clock?
Yeah. Yeah, it was right at 8 o'clock. Right when we sat down is when we got this alert.
Yeah.
So that was this candle. So that was this. We took it at the open of this candle right here is where we took this. And this was our target. This zone, I don't believe this zone was here at the time.
No, it popped up.
Because
but
we had,
can I ask you a
target.
question? You see the bottom, how it says retest equals 9.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's because it's retested this zone 9 times that
It
the
is.
anticipation is it'll go through.
I think, well, what Nathan has said is that the higher the number of the retests, the stronger the zone. So in this case, he says it's a stronger zone. Now, the OTA method is talking about that when it gets retested, the more it gets retested, the more likely it is to break through it.
Yeah, exactly.
His theory is just exact opposite, is that it's a stronger zone. And as I look at this, you can see that it really hasn't gotten much below this area right here. So when you look at where our entry was, where's my little arrow here? Our entry was right up in here, which is at 69. And the bottom of this is at 58. You're only looking at 10 pips.
Yeah.
53 to 60. So so you're well, the zone is still strong. So for myself, I'm just going to stay into this trade. It did form this up on top, which does give some rise to, now the fact that this zone wasn't here and now it's been formed, this would be a reason to maybe get out of that trade. And I think that's what, what Matt was referring to is that I don't think so much if you get the opposite direction, but if you get another zone, that's going to give you another barrier. Right now, it's going to be hard to get that break through this. Now, this one's still showing weak. This one's still strong. This is still a stronger zone by the retest time. This is retested 9 times. This is considered weak. This is considered weaker because it's got retested 1 time, 3 times. It's like a level on a level. So for me, I'm not going to take the opposite trade on this, but I'm just going to hold off on this one right now. And I'm just going to see if how this zone holds here for me. I have to get a little bit more clarity on when you bail on it in this scenario, because it's just in a real tight range right now.
Yeah, I would have to think if the arrow comes in it's bouncing off that new zone that formed, that new resistance. So if price action is in the support zone, I'd be very, very, just like you, reluctant to take it, especially if that's how he works it, that 9 times retested and it can't break through, then that's, you know, even more reason not to go for it.
Yeah, I certainly would not go short on this. Now the question is, do I want to get out of my long? Is the really what the question is. And my
I
thinking,
know, yeah, I know what he has said though, is that if candles start closing in the opposite zone, get out. He did say that in his video, but I guess that's his recommendation, and it's kind of like what your technical analysis, I guess, decides for you.
This is good to know. I think we should have some time and talk to the developer about it and
yeah,
find out exactly.
yeah, I think so too. We need to get some clarity on this scenario. The fact that this zone up here is considered weak, hasn't been tested yet. This zone was created on this down move. This zone was created where it came up, couldn't break through this zone, and it created a secondary zone. Now the question is, do you want to take the loss on this, or you want to wait for it to pull back and maybe retest this zone? I would say you may want to shorten up your target, but I would still be looking at this to be a rebound. Let's take a look at this on the technicals. This would be a good one to analyze technically and see if it fits into what we've been learning all along. And this is the Euro Yen. So let's go to the Euro Yen chart. And let's go to a 15-minute chart. Let me go and switch my screen here.
The Euro NZD is doing quite nicely. It's getting closer to the zone that take profit.
And see, like right now, right now I could take profit on, I could close out both these trades and I'd still be profitable by a couple of dollars. And that's one way of protecting your profits, or protecting your account. And let's see, where's the my screen for? Here it is. There we go. Okay, we were talking about the Euro Yen is what the one we're looking at, and you're seeing like it came right down to our demand zone. And it's bouncing. Now we do have the moving average. It came up here, tested the. Now we're on the 5-minute chart. Let's go on the 15-minute chart, which is where we're referencing everything here. Let's go to the 15-minute chart. And this is where having the technical analysis education, it helps you to make some of these decisions when you get to some of these little areas where things aren't quite as clear as what we've been discussing on this one. We already had our zone. We decided this was our demand zone. It came, and you can see it came down, tested the zone, and it pulled back out. It did not close inside the zone. It did not close at our 15-minute fib line. Now this might be a good time to, as this thing pulls back up and retest the, you can see that we're still having some downward pressure. So as this thing pulls back, if it gets back up to the mid-range, that would be a good time to maybe bail on this and then close out. Then the other ones getting to be profitable. We're almost at our target on the Euro New Zealand. So as this, and we'll watch this, we're on a 1 hour. How do I get on 1 hour on that? Let's go on the 15-minute here. Nice little bounce, came back up, tested the 30-minute. We're having consolidation. As it's coming up to where our entry is on this Euro Yen, as it comes back up to our entry, I'm going to be okay with just bailing on this because we had that red zone that just developed on top of it. But let's give this thing a chance to come back up, get back to where we were break even, and then I'm going to close that trade out. I don't like the fact that we had the crossovers of all these moving averages. We did take profit. I did get a profit on the Euro New Zealand, so that's a winning trade. And we're at a crossroads here. And we got an arrow alert on the US S&P to sell. As we're looking at this, I'm going to check that one out here. And Matt, maybe you can help me out with that. Check that one out in the process. Could we have a sell? That one might work. As this thing pulls back up to the entry, I'll close this trade out. Just because it's got to fit the rules. It has to fit the rules of, say we had gotten out right when we got that down arrow, we would have gotten out with a losing trade, and we would have missed this little pullback right here. We have some upward movement right on this, on the RSIs. It came down to the low, it bounced out. We have the crossover, nice little move up. This was pretty much a little bit of a head fake. But since we have this moving average coming down, it came up, tested it. Here was the overnight, this is our box. It came down, tested our overnight low. And now it's coming up, and we can just go maybe take a small, as soon as this gets back to break even, I'll be out of this trade. Look down here with our RCS tool, you can see that the euro is stronger only by one, and only by one spread. And it's pretty much in a very tight range right now. So we're just going to watch this. And I don't mind taking a small loss on this because I just made probably a $30 profit on the other one. Let's see what the profit on that one was. Yeah, that was a $28 profit. So I don't mind taking a $5 loss. I don't want it to come back down again. So I'm just going to go ahead and close that trade out. And I'm still profitable for the day. Boom. That one's done. So right now I'm out of everything. You can see where it came back up. It's making a little, here's a nice strong move down, came back up, retested this area. This is right where we got in. Retested these moving averages. And like I said, I'm just going to bail on it. We have a red zone right up in here right now. This came up right about in, it's probably somewhere up around in here. Let me go back to that chart and see exactly where the that zone developed. So euro yen. And the zone that we have is at, we'll call it 126.75 to 126.90. 126.75, 126.90. This is that red zone that was formed after we got into the trade here. And I'm going to call this the, no, we're just going to make this our supply zone. Untested, but you can see that it made a high, a low, a lower high. Right now, this is our wedge right in here. So I'm okay taking a small loss on this one, especially since we had the other opposite trade that just, yeah, it's probably a good chance it's going to come and retest. Now let's see if there's a fib line in here. So we have our 15-minute fib lines. Let's put let's go to our 5-minute chart. And let's see where the fib lines fall on this one. Here's a red fib line right here. This is a 5-minute red. And then we have here's our 5-minute blue. The blue would be right up in here. And then we're looking for the other green, which is pretty much right where we entered this trade, I believe. Yep, here's the 5-minute green. And that's right
Euro
where we
Aussie
entered.
alert.
And that's where we entered the trade. Aussie alert, okay.
Euro Aussie, yeah.
And I think someone's at my door. Hang on, Matt, you want to take over?
Yeah,
Okay,
absolutely. We're
you got
good.
it.
Go ahead.
A lot of
I'm
alerts
gonna
this
stop
morning.
sharing it. I'm gonna stop.
All right. Sorry about that. So let's just gonna fire up my charts here real quick. Get the rest of them up and running. So what's the sorry, I stepped
Euro
away for a little
Aussie.
bit. We're in
Euro-
Euro Aussie.
Yeah, Euro Aussie buy.
Okay, give me just a sec. Share screen. Let's get that out of here. There we go. So Euro Aussie. Let's go check this out. So if we just wanted to talk about potentially where this breakout could go, here's where, if you wanted a really conservative target, let's go see. So sorry, we're saying buy?
Yes,
Is the alert the last alert that we received?
yes, we just got it seconds ago.
Okay, okay. Let's go. Let me go open up my.
Looks like it was
Here
a
we
false
go.
alarm, so I'm back. But go ahead.
Oh,
keep
you're
on-
still good?
Keep on going. Yeah, I thought I heard somebody at the door, but
Oh,
Oh,
you're
okay.
fine. So
Go
what I
ahead.
did is
Take it
I just
away.
do a wedge here on Euro JPY. And because we have a strong wedge here and we have a really strong trend line, if it breaks out of here, it could be a very, very nice move.
But the alert was Euro Aussie, Matt.
Oh,
Euro Aussie.
I thought it was Euro Yen. Oh my goodness. Euro
No
Aussie.
worries. It's
One of
the-
those mornings. Here, let's blow this up a little bit. Here, we'll make it nice and big so everyone can see. So let's get rid of this too. And this. And this. All right. So Euro Aussie. Let's make it white just for the simplicity of everything. Wedges have come to be one of my absolute favorite things to do, and so it's sometimes hard to get away from them. So we got two nice wedges here. Actually, we got one like this, and then we have a small little one going up here. See what I mean? So let me go check my arrow here. We had, holy smokes, the good old cryptos going insane. Let me go check this real quick. See, Euro AUD. Here we go. So this is what it would look like from the arrow perspective. We got a green zone down here. We got the arrow, and then we got a red zone up here. So we've got enough room to take this thing, at least in my opinion, because that's the red zone's right here. So if I was to draw, it's not going to be exactly where the red zone is, but it's like here, you know. And if we just make it a little bit, we'll just flip it to a little bit of red. Here's the red zone. And if we drew a stick from the bottom of the wedge to the top of the wedge, from the breakout, you would be into that zone, right? So potentially, what do you think, Al? Do you think something like this would be a nice target?
Do we have the 20 pips to the zone? Is what I'm trying to-
Significantly.
Then I say we have a good target. Let's see something here. Let me just check one thing. And
So
this
if
is
we take
and this is the Euro Aussie.
Euro Aussie, we got like almost 50 pips to the red zone, more or less.
Yeah, I think the strength, the Euro side, I think we're good. Yeah, we can take that.
Looks good, especially
Okay.
from this.
We'll take it. So we'll go with a buy on this one.
Yeah, because if we just revisit it really quickly, we got the arrow, we got the green at the bottom. We're in the money zone. I'm satisfied that meets all of our criteria.
40 pip target, 20 pip target, 40 pip stop.
Yeah, because we're
And
Well,
we have room. Yep, there's room. And
even
we have
more room.
strength. We have room and we have strength on the euro side. So I'd say, yeah, I think it's a good trade.
Yep. I'm liking that.
Again, it's still somewhat range bound. A lot of these pairs are still somewhat range bound.
It is. It's been consolidating for a bit, Al.
If we scroll down and scroll in to check the strength, there is strength to the downside as opposed to the upside. But we do have a nice little hook on the that blue line. There's a nice little hook on the blue line.
Here, I'll let you share your screen because you've got the different indicators up.
Okay. Let me see. Show my screen here. Hang on a second.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll go try and find something here. Here we go. My screen. Okay. So basically, what I'm looking at right now is as I scroll into the this plus and minus little button here by the magnifying glass to zoom in and zoom out. As I zoom in, you'll see that there is a lot more red up here than there is down here. The thing I do like though is that we do have the hook. We actually have the hook of this blue, and we do have the green arrow, and we do have room to this other zone, which was this one was tested 4 times on that chart. So let's scroll back out again a little bit. It was a retest 4 times, but also when I look and see how deep this thing went in up here, a lot of times as this one went in deep, this one up a little bit deeper, then it came back out. So up, this zone is just about, it's sort of like that jackhammer that keeps on pounding away at the wall. Eventually, this is the first time it pounded away. Actually here, pounded away here, came back out, hit it again, pull back out, hit it again, even deeper, pull a strong move down. Now we do have a little bit of a trend that we're looking at. But I still think this is a good trade, personally. I still think this is an okay trade. If it gets close to your target and can't quite break the target, just close it out.
Absolutely, especially with such a powerful downtrend. You know, you got all these red zones at the top.
There we go. That's what I was trying to do right here. We have here we have an anchor. Here's a hit. Here's a hit. Now, if it comes back up and hits this and can't break through, then I'll probably exit this trade because of all the downward pressure. The fact we have it was sort of baseline, flat line, I expect it's going to come back up. Remember we say a lot of times where we have a basing. And this is all the overnight basing, but it came down, came back up, based, went up, retested this, based, come back down. I would expect it to come back and retest this area right in here, which is right where our target is. We do have the hook. I would probably not let it go. If it breaks the bottom, if it comes back down and breaks this blue line to the downside, then I would be getting out of it. I would not wait for it to get my stop. Right now, I think there's enough from the upside. You'll probably get a little bit of a bounce right off of here, but it does fit the criteria. We have the up arrow, we had the bounce. It came back up, retested. Now we have a little bit of a trend on this down here. And this will sort of start getting into some of those other strategies that you'll be looking at where it starts forming patterns off these bounces. And this is sort of like that. If you get through the strategies, you'll see it'll talk about W's, M's, and W's. This is the W. Here's a strong move down, comes back up, retest it, comes back, retest it. This is the leg of the W, and now it's going up to retest this zone. So I'm okay with this trade. I want to be careful. I want to be aware that it's got to get through this level right in here. But if it can break through that, then here would be the trap, and that's right where our target is. And we can analyze that a little bit more on the, let's see here. Now we can go back to our normal wedge analysis. Let's see here. Hang on, let me. Let's see, where's that blue line right now? That blue line is the value where that blue line is right now. This blue line is at 57.46. So 57.46. Let me draw this in here. And so right now I am in this trade right now. And let me go and share my other screen.
Al, it's getting close to the 9:30 open.
Oh, good. And my people aren't here yet, so that's good. I'll be able to just, we have about 4 more minutes. Let's just do a real quick analysis on this. Thanks for bringing that to my attention there, Christine.
Sure.
Number 4. We'll just do the analysis on this one real quick. And you should see my screen. So right now we're on the Euro Aussie, go a 15-minute chart. We'll see what we have here. And I'm going to just take some of this stuff off. Here's our moving average. Here's our daybreak. Here's our overnight session. Let's mark where London is, 3 o'clock. This is East Coast time. Depending where you are in the world is a different time, but mine's right here at 3 o'clock. Here's our zone before London. So we take it from here to right before the London session, which is the low right here, is where it came in right when London opened. It drove it down, had a little bit of a head fake, drove down, came back up. This is the top of the London session. We're going to make this our range that we're working with right now. We'll lock this in so we don't move it. And we have our 30-minute moving average coming in. We have our 15 period moving. This is the 30.62. This is the 15.62, which we often talk about. We have the green crossing the yellow. That's our 5. It's coming right on up to the 16, to the 62. Right now, this is moving up. This has a crossover down here. And right now, we're looking to see where our fib lines are. I'm going to put some 15-minute fib lines in. Here's our green fib line. Here's our blue fib line. So we'll mark those in there. I would expect we had a little bit of a bounce off of this one. The question is, can it penetrate it? This is the 15 green. Here's a 15 blue. And we're going to find out the range in between this and see where the other zones are. Here's a 15-minute red. I like marking these 15-minute zones because they give you lots of room, but also can give you lots of room for the interior of the. This is blue. No, this is red. I'm sorry. And we'll go over to the 5-minute chart. And let's check out the price action. Strong move up, forming a little bit of a wedge right up here. See, it came down, bounced off of this yellow one. So we have a little bit of a wedge coming in. And I'm going to take it.
Euro AUD is one of those big movers, though. So
here's a high, here's a low. We're going to just kind of flat line right up to this one, and I'm going to flat line it here. We'll see what it does on this point. We could take this thing down a little bit to this bottom of this blue candle, this first blue candle. This was the last blue candle. That's right now. Is it going to retest the bottom of this blue candle on the pullback? And I'm going to align this C right even. I'm going to just align it with this because this came up, had a little bit of a wick. It pulled back. It was rejected. Now if it comes back up and retests this, it may get the breakout of the top side. Or we're going to see if it's going to break down, retest this 62. And right here is pretty much where that blue line on the arrow tool, I took the measurement off of that. And this is where that blue line on the arrow tool is, right here at, I think I said 46 or 48, I guess. 46.7. Let me make that blue since we know we're referencing that blue line. Oops, didn't do that. There we go. And so, I mean, it's right now it's starting to form some of a base, a high, a low, and we'll see if we can break through here and retest the line. If it comes back down and closes below that, then we might probably want to be out of the trade because it will probably form another zone up on above. The target on this one is, well, let's see what we say our target was, 157.80. 157.80. So here's where our target is on this trade. And our stop is all the way down below at 157.20. 157.20. So here's our stop. So we still have lots of room till we get to the stop side. Here's a trend line coming in right up the bottom here. I like this part.
Market's open.
And now the market's open. This was our 9 o'clock move coming right on up here to the 9 o'clock move. Now as the market's open, it's retracing. And we're pretty much at the end of our session. And unfortunately, I'm gonna have to go here before too long. But are there any questions before we leave? Again, we're still following the rules of the how this thing's developed. As we're learning to perform our technical analysis, it helps. We're still taking the trade. We're still leaving the target. We're still having to stop. But as we can watch, as we can kind of see, it's following our what we know from the technicals to where we can maybe get a better keep from taking the full stop out, or is the target still a viable target? You can just do the basic rules, set it, forget it, walk away, wait for it to happen. But if you're sitting here in front of the charts and you want to do, this is a good way to practice your analysis of how well things work out. Knowing that just leaving this go like this, you're probably going to be right 80% of the time. So just give it the wiggle room. Don't get scared out of the trades, but kind of watch and see how it performs. We have a little, here's a high, here's a low, here's a higher high, here's a higher low. We actually have another little channel that's trading in right now. I like these upward channels because it gives you that range it gives you that wiggle room that you need to be able to stay in the trades if you have the right direction. And with that, we're going to wrap this thing up today. Any questions? Last minute, going once, twice. And we will be back tomorrow at 8 o'clock. See you then.
See you
All right. See you guys all later.
Have a great day. God bless.